trunk? Is it access? If it's trunk, you don't have to configure both devices. You configure one side and let the other side discuss with the switch and decide how they work together. So Dynamic Trunking Protocol, DTP, simply it is a Cisco protocol. In a very short time, we will talk about another protocol used by other vendors, except for Cisco. So DTP simply, by default, it's in the switch. Dynamic Auto is default on the Cisco switches, and you are allowed to turn it off if you don't want to use it. So that's one thing. We'll discuss it when we go to security part, because having this one may cause some security issues. So it will be wise if you don't want to use it, or after everything is settled down, you turn it off. You can of course turn it on again. How to turn it on? You remember when we go to the interface and say switch port mode access or switch port mode trunk. Another option, it was switch port mode dynamic. What is dynamic? Simply it means you discover what's on the other side of the link. I will not configure the switch. Let the switch go and discuss using the protocol and find out who's the other side. Now, to do that one, for negotiation between the switches, we have two parties. One will start the negotiation, the other one should accept to discuss. So you, as a administrator, you have to decide how to configure it. If both sides want to negotiate, everything will be okay. But the problem is, if one of them doesn't want to negotiate, for example, one of them is access. Remember, we did access previously. It's for end device. It means there will be no trunk. The DTP, dynamic trunking protocol, will not work. If both sides access, of course, that will not work. If both sides trunk, that means you would do the trunking by yourself. Now we have another option, dynamic. We have two options. Dynamic auto will become a trunk interface if the neighbor interface is set to trunk or desirable mode. Okay, this one auto, what it will happen, it will wait for some switches to talk to it in order to form the trunk. It will not start the negotiation, waiting for the other side to start talking to it. If it's desirable, will start the negotiation. It will send to the other side, say that, okay, let's make a trunk. So now if you have auto and desirable on both sides of the link, it will be fine. But if you have auto both sides, that will be an issue. Why? Both sides are waiting for someone to start the negotiation. So nothing will happen. If both of them desirable, that's good. Both of them, they start the negotiation. They just want to talk, so should be fine. So let's see this table. This is very important to remember, because if you have the configuration of the trunk not working, you have to check this thing. Check both sides and see what's the issue. If one side is dynamic auto and the other side also dynamic auto, the result will be access, meaning that no trunk will be formed. Why? Again, this one is waiting for someone to talk. The other switch also waiting for someone to talk. At the end, no talking will happen. Trunk will not be formed. Another option, you have one switch dynamic desirable, the other one dynamic auto. So someone is willing to start the negotiation, the other one is waiting for someone to start the negotiation. By logic, trunk will be formed because discussion will be done. The other option, if you make one side trunk, the other side auto, trunk means manually configure the trunk. Auto, waiting for someone to configure the trunk. So the protocol will not work. However, it will be trunk because simply we have one side already done manually. The access is not the same. Access means the other side is not a trunk, so nothing will happen in that case. It will remain as access. Now, if both of them are dynamic, it will be trunk. If one of them, if both of them are dynamic desirable, it will be trunk. If one of them is auto, the other one is desirable, that would be trunk. Desirable and trunk, that would be trunk. So you can see here. Now, if you have a trunk, one switch is trunk, the other side of the link is access, we will have limited connectivity. Can you tell me why do you think it's limited connectivity? One side is trunk, the other one access. You remember we said access for end device. What will happen in that case? If one side is trunk, the other side is access, who will be allowed to pass by that link? This one access, when we configure it, access, after that we have to say access VLAN 10, right? And the other side will become trunk, which will allow everyone. One side allowing VLAN 10, the other one is allowing everyone. Limited connectivity means that only VLAN 10 will pass, although the other side of the link is trunk. The same, this table is important to understand, because if you don't do it in a right way, you will get some problem. For me personally, I prefer to do dynamic desirable all the time for both sides. Why? It's the safest. Both of them want to talk. At the end, we have some negotiation will be done. But if one of them want to listen only, like the auto, it will be a problem. Now, for this one, okay, if you want to verify, you can type show DTP interface F01, for example, and then you will start see all the details of that DTP. Now, I want you to do this one with me. Let's see how the dynamic trunking would be done and how it will be helpful. So I'll go to Net Academy. Where is Net Academy? Okay. So Net Academy. I'll download it on my computer and put it in the WhatsApp, so you don't have to open Net Academy if you don't want to. Okay, that's 3, which is the number 356. Actually, it is 355. Okay. This one. Okay, let's do it together. Okay, let's open this one. Okay, we have a network similar to the one we did last class. If you remember, 3 switches, 6 devices. Now, we just need to follow the instructions we have in the activity window here. You can see it's giving us different computers, the IP addresses. Not sure if the IP address is there or not. We have to check that. We have different subnetting. So we know that PC1, for example, and PC6, they belong to the same VLAN because the IP address from the same subnet. PC2 and PC5, the same VLAN. PC3 and 4 are same VLAN. We have also VLAN 99. Remember, this is the management, or it could be the native. We have to follow and see what's happening in the activity. But before I start, I need to check if the IP address is already in the computer or I have to do it. And you can see it's already there. And what we can see also that we have default gateway. There's no router, but we have default gateway. I don't know why. Let's check here, 254. We will see it later, maybe. So not this one. Default gateway for this one. It's weird. We will see it later. Maybe we discover why we have default gateway. The other computer also having IP address, and that's okay. Now I want to check the switches to see if there's some VLANs or we have to create. So show VLAN brief. What I can see that we have the VLANs already created for management only. VLAN 10, 20, 30 are not there. We have the native separated from the management. That's also something we have to be aware of. Native is for trunking, management is for SSH and Telnet. So switch 1 doesn't have VLAN 10, 20. Maybe we don't need it. We'll check that later. Okay, let's check switch 2. What do we have there? Show VLAN brief. Also, you can see we have VLAN 99 and 999. And no ports are assigned for this one. Okay. So now we know the situation. I want to see if there's any trunking already set there. How to check the trunk? Show interface trunk, I think. No trunk, it's empty. So now we know the situation. What we have to do, configure static trunking. Let's see how to do that. First of all, we have to follow the, usually we have to read this one, but I always skip the background until we reach ACL in the enterprise network, then we read it. So now we verify, we already checked the VLANs, and we want to create additional VLANs. You can see that we have 3 different VLANs. We have to call them red, blue, and yellow. I'll go to switch 2. In switch 2, I'll go to config terminal. And in there, I will make a new VLANs. First VLAN is VLAN 10. And this VLAN will be named red, according to the table we are having here. Okay, red. Next VLAN, 20. I will call it blue. And the last one, 30, is called yellow. So the VLANs already created at switch 2. I need to create them also at switch 1 and 3. So config terminal, what I have to do, VLAN 10, name red, then VLAN 20, name blue, VLAN 30, name yellow. Okay, so created the VLANs already. I will go to switch 3, create the same thing, enable config terminal, and then I'll create the VLAN 10, name red. Make sure that, I think it's case sensitive, I didn't check that, but to get that 100% completion rate, we have to be careful about what we type, the names we choose. Okay, name is blue, and VLAN 30 name is yellow. Okay. So check the completion rate. We should reach at least 24%. Now, what we have to do to recreate them, actually, we have to verify that we have them. Let's verify in one switch. I don't want to do it in every switch. Do show VLAN brief, just to make sure that I have them, not typo, the numbers are correct, and everything is fine. Already done. Now, let's follow the activity. Assign VLANs to ports. So switch to F01 until 8, they are VLAN 10. Okay, F01 until 8, it is VLAN 10. That's at switch 2. So let's do that. What I will have to do, let's move from VLAN configuration mode by typing exit. In the general configuration mode, now I want to do the configuration for many interfaces. I would type interface range. So instead of doing one by one, I would do all of them together since it is the same configuration. F01 until 8. Now I can assign this one to VLAN 10. VLAN 10, what will be the command I have to write in order to assign VLAN 10? Can you tell me? What should I type next?
Switch port mode access.
Yeah, exactly. Switch port mode access, and then switch port access VLAN 10. So this is the first one done. Now I go to the second range for switch 2. Second range is 09, F09 until 16 will have VLAN 20. So interface range F09 until 16, I think. Yes, 16. I would do the same. Switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 20. This is done. Next one, 17 to 24. F0, 17 until 24. Switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 30. So we are done with the switch 2. Now I will go to switch 1, nothing. Why do you think switch 1, there's no, it's not written in this table? Why do you think switch 1 is not here?
It's not connecting to any PC.
Yeah, exactly. It's not connected to any end device, so no need to do access at all. It's only having trunk since it's connected to switches. So we go directly to switch 3. It is the same configuration. So at switch 3, first I will exit the VLAN configuration mode, go to the general configuration mode. From there, type interface range F01 to 8. Here I'll type switch port mode access, and then switch port access VLAN 10. Next, 9 until 16. What's missing? What's wrong?
F0/9.
Exactly. F0/9 to 16. In here, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 20. Next one, interface F0/17 until 24. Switch port mode access, switch port VLAN 30. Switch port access VLAN 30. So all the access modes are configured. Let's see what's next. And actually the right thing to do after you do that, you do show VLAN brief to make sure that you already assigned the right range of interfaces to the right VLAN. So you see VLAN 10 already having from F01 until 8. VLAN 20 is having 9 until 16. VLAN 30 is having the ports 17 until 24. We still have gigabit Ethernet 1 and 2 at VLAN 1. Okay, so let's see what will happen next. I'll go down, and this is configured. Now let's see what we have to do to configure trunks on switch 1, 2, and 3. Of course, we have to follow the steps mentioned here to make sure that everything will be fine. So it's just a little bit explanation about dynamic trunking protocol. It will be different switches discussing together. Okay. Now we want to change the mode dynamic to desirable. That's one thing. For the link between switch 1 and switch 2. Between switch 1 and 3 will be static trunking. So 1 and 2 will be automatically done. And 2 and 3, they want static. Use VLAN 999 to be the native VLAN. So how to do that? I'll go to switch 1, the one in the middle. I'll try to configure VLAN at which interface? I forgot the interface. G01. Okay. At interface G01, I'll go there and type switch port mode. Instead of writing trunk, I'll type, let's see the options. The options we have, access, we don't want it access. We wanted a trunk, however, we want to use the dynamic option. So we type dynamic. Enter, it will say incomplete command. Why it's incomplete? Let's see, question mark again. It is asking us, do you want it to be auto or desirable? Here you have to remember the table we saw at the beginning. Okay, where's the table? This table. Looking at this table, you can see this table is having some matches should be fine. Some of them will not work. Okay, by default, if you do dynamic, it is under auto. So you have to change one of them at least to dynamic, so dynamic desirable for the entire trunking to happen. So dynamic desirable. Enter. Now look at the messages we got. First of all, the protocol is on, but then it is the whole link went down. Then it came up. Why? Because they are discussing. To discuss these things, they have to make sure that both sides having the right native VLAN. Both of them same native VLAN. If they have different native VLAN, it will be a problem. Okay. So looking here on switch 2, verify the trunk has been negotiated by entire. Okay, this one. Switch 2, let's do that. Verify. If you open switch 2, you see some messages already came. Okay, both of them are having VLAN 99 as the native. But if you read the instruction, it's saying that use VLAN 999 as a native VLAN for this topology. Okay, so we may need to change that. Now, what do we want to do? We know that switch 1 will be dynamic. It is desirable. It will start negotiation. What we want to do here at switch 2, we want to check if the trunk is already there or not. Let's see that. Okay, what to do? Interface trunk. Do show interface trunk. Looking in here, what we can see that it's already this auto. We didn't do anything at switch 2. We didn't configure anything at switch 2. However, we have this one is already auto. Ranking. Native VLAN is 1. We didn't change it. Okay, that's one thing. Native VLAN is 1. You see that's allowing everything. That's not how it's supposed to be. So let's do the other VLAN, then we come back to this one. I think I skipped something here. Okay. On switch 1, configure the trunk link and dynamic desirable on G01. The configuration is done. Okay, what will be the result? We see some communication happen, some message to receive by switch 2. On switch 2, verify that trunk has been negotiated, done. By entering the show, we did this one. Interface gigabit Ethernet should appear in the output. That's right. What is the mode and status for this port? This one, as a switch 2, it is auto. Okay, switch 1 was desirable. So they discussed and they formed the trunk. Now for the trunk link between switch 1 and 3, configure interface at G02. Here they want us to do it. They want us to do switch 1 as trunk and then we let them negotiate. So let's do that. Exit this one. I will go to interface G02. That's at switch 1. Remember, switch 1, G02. I will make switch port mode trunk. However, the details this time, it will be switch port trunk. So switch port, just give me a second. Question mark to see the options. You can see no negotiate. What's the meaning of no negotiate? We want to stop the DTP. We want to stop the DTP from discussing and making the trunk. So no negotiate. Okay, let's check now. Use the show DTP command to verify the status of DTP. That's at switch 1. Let's do that. Do show TDP. I think it should be TDP. No. Interface DTP. What is the command? Do show DTP. Why it's not allowing us to do show TDP? Do show DTP, Dynamic Trunk Protocol. Okay. So let's see this one. We got global DTP information, sending DTP hello packets every 30 seconds. Dynamic trunk timeout is 300 seconds when interface using DTP. Okay. Now, why we did the non-negotiate? As we said, we want to disable the DTP. If you disable it, it will be more secure. Now, verify trunking is enabled on all switches using the show interface trunk. That's at switch 1. Do show interface trunk. What we can see here, although we told G02 don't negotiate, but already it's negotiated earlier with the other. When we activated at G01 as desirable, it directly simply negotiate with everyone. But now I think there's some mistake happened. Just let me check results because one step is missed. The native VLAN should it be 1. So let's check the results to see what did we miss. Assessment items. Native VLAN is this one. So we didn't do the native VLAN, that's correct. Native VLAN is this one. Okay. I knew there's something wrong somewhere because native VLAN should be 999. But where did we miss that step? Okay, let's try this one. What I would do in switch one. Which one is the DPP? We did it at interface G0. Native is already there, but calling it native doesn't mean that it will have it. Okay, I think we skipped that one at this point. I need to go to interface G01, and at G01, I will make native VLAN G01. Now the native, switch port, trunk, native, VLAN 999. I should start getting messages from the other side. There's mismatch. Mismatch here. What about this one? Let's double check to show interface trunk. Switch one. Do show interface trunk. This is fixed. What did I miss? Switch two. We get the message saying that there's mismatch. Let's double check that one. I have to change the native to VLAN. What was the interface I am in here? Interface G01, and I want this interface to be trunk, but this one should be auto. So switch port, mode, trunk, dynamic, auto, and then switch port, trunk, VLAN, native VLAN, trunk, native, VLAN 999. Okay, so the mismatch will stop now. They will stop and should be figured out. Assessment, native VLAN for G02 also should be changed. What else? Switch 3, everything is not working. Oh, switch 3 is okay. It's only we are missing this point, the native VLAN. When we configure it, I forgot to say the native VLAN is 99. So at switch 2, I go to interface G02, switch port, trunk, native VLAN 999. Something is still not complete. Check results. What's wrong? Switch 3, we have the dynamic mode. We have to do it correct. We want it to be DTP configuration. Native VLAN trunk configuration, non-negotiate. Okay, bus size should be non-negotiate. So at switch 3, what I would do, we didn't do here in the interface. Okay, config terminal. I will go to interface G02. And in interface G02, I want to do switch ports mode trunk. If I'm not mistaken, here should be trunk. And then switch port trunk native VLAN 999. And then after that, after I do this one, they will start negotiating to see what VLANs will be allowed. I think we don't have to do the allowed here. Let's see. Do show interface trunk. You can see what they do. When they do the DTP, whatever VLANs available, it will put it as the allowed VLANs. We don't have even to write that step. Okay. One thing I want to do is to, after we have the trunk switch port, I would do no negotiate. Let's check do show interface trunk. You can see that now the native VLAN is 99. And all the VLANs are allowed inside the trunk. G02 is having the trunk. Should be everything okay now. Okay, check the completion rate is 100%, but that's not enough. We have to ping the devices. So PC1 is 192.168.10.1. PC6 is the same VLAN, so I can ping it from here. Ping 192.168.10.1. You can see I can get the results, but it's not enough until I try to go to other PCs and ping their network. Ping 192.168.20.1 also can, and this one should be able to ping the 30.1. Ping 192.168.30.1. Also, it's working. So let's conclude what we did here. Since we missed some steps and we can't go back to it, maybe you are confused now. What we have done, simply we want to switch to, tell switch to that you are dynamic auto, meaning that wait the configuration to come from another device. But for trunk, your native VLAN is 999. We want to switch one. At G01, we told it you will use DTP, so you are dynamic desirable, meaning that you will be starting the negotiation with the switch to. Put in mind that your VLAN, native VLAN is 999. Then at G02, this one we make it as a trunk, normal trunk, because it's a static trunk. Static trunk meaning that you, the admin, will configure everything. However, because we use some negotiation at the beginning, the allowed VLANs, we didn't write them. The DTP will discover it from the other side and do it. So that's simply what the DTP would do. It should make our life easier. And it should help us in order to configure maybe one switch, but the other switch will be configured automatically if we put the trunking correct. Okay, so hopefully this is clear. Any questions? Any question? I will put the link in iTalem to be submitted, let's say, by the end of this class. Okay, you submit this one by the end of this class, meaning at 10 should be submitted. And if you are not attending the class right now, you will miss the submission. You cannot submit it later. So let me activate that one. It is 3.5.5. No. Oh, it's not enterprise network, sorry. This is networking concept section 2. Okay, should be this one, 355. So I put the setting to be before this class, and today is 11. The class will end at 10. Okay, I'll give you until 30. Just okay. Now we have another one. This one, I will give it to you to be submitted before, like, before next class, or let's do it together, actually. Let's do it together, and you submit it before midnight. 361. Can submit it before midnight. Okay. So 2 exercises to be submitted today. Now let's download this one. The number is 36 something, 361. Yeah, I put it also in WhatsApp, so you don't have to download it yourself. This window here is a good example of the orphan process in operating system. You close the window, you close the application, but the window's still there. Okay, so can we start? Raise your hand if you are ready to start a new exercise. Oh, 6 out of 30, 7 out of 30. Okay, let's wait for 1 minute until you download it. Is that okay? Maybe you want to download the file or try to upload the other one. I will give you a rest for 1 minute and then we can continue, inshallah. So 1 minute and we meet again. Okay, so let's continue now. I hope you are ready to start. This one is the last activity at the module in Net Academy. So usually for this one, they don't put a lot of instructions. They just want you to do everything by yourself, find the commands, just give you the main variable you have to use. So this is a network, a little bit more complicated than the others. Just to double check, I want to see if the IP address is there. You can see it's already there. Just put the pointer on the device, no need to click. I think if we click, yeah, we have also everything is there. So the IP address is mentioned here. Now we are not sure if the device is already connected. You can see here it's telling you PC1 is connected to switch B, and the interface is F01. I want to see the VLANs to check if there are VLANs or I have to create the VLAN. So show VLAN brief. When I check that one, what I will see, I can see only the basics one or the default ones are there. VLAN 1, 1002, 3, 4, 5. It means that I have to create the VLANs. They are not there. Okay. Now, same thing for the other switches, I believe. Let's see what kind of VLANs do we have. Background, we don't read it. We go for instructions directly. Now, it's telling you that you need to create different VLANs, 10, 20, 30, 40, 99, and 100. You can see at the diagram we have only one phone. Okay. That means this phone having the voice VLAN. It will be connected to F04 in switch C. However, although we have only one switch connected to that specific phone, the other switches should be aware that there's a VLAN called 40 or number 40, voice 40, because that device or that switch, that phone will not talk to itself, to talk to the others. So we have to configure it everywhere. Now I go to switch B. At switch B, I go to config terminal and I try to build or make those VLANs as stated in the table here. I don't think we will have enough time to finish this today. So you have to do it by yourself, complete it by yourself. So let's do that, VLAN 10. The name is admin. VLAN 20. Name is accounts. VLAN 30. Name is HR. Then we have VLAN 40. The name is voice. VLAN 99. Name management. VLAN 100. Name native. Okay. So this is the first switch, switch B. We have to do the same at the other switches. So I'll go to switch A. Before I start, I need to make sure that there are no VLANs. Maybe they put it. So just type VLAN brief. Show VLAN brief. You see that VLAN 1 is the only one there. I have to create the others, just the same steps as I did. Config terminal. Then here, VLAN 10, name admin, VLAN 20, name accounts, VLAN 30, name HR, VLAN 40, sorry, typo, VLAN 40, name voice, and VLAN 99 is management, name management, and VLAN 100, again typo, sorry, VLAN 100, name native. Okay, so I created the VLANs. Now I got switch C, do the same thing. Create the VLANs first. Config terminal, but before that, I'll check if they are already existing there. Show VLAN brief. It's not there, so go to config terminal. In config terminal, I will put this one, VLAN 10, name admin, VLAN 20, name counts, VLAN 30, name HR, VLAN 40, name voice, VLAN 99, name management, VLAN 100, name native. So we created the VLANs, all of them, in all the switches. Look at the completion rate. For me, it's 40%. I just want to double check there's no typo here or there, because I always do typos. You can see creating the VLANs, or all of them are correct at switch A. Switch B also correct. Switch C also correct, so no typo. This is not the right way to do it, because in real life we don't have that. The right way to do it, simply I have to go and type do show VLAN brief. I will get a list of the VLANs. From here, you check, make sure they are correct. Okay, that's the right way. Okay, now after we created the VLANs, what we have to do? Assign ports to VLAN, assign access port to VLANs. Okay, so you look here, either you look at the table or you look at the topology, the diagram we have here. From here, we can know which one is connected to what. For example, we know that VLAN 10 is connected to PC1. PC1 is VLAN 10. It is connected to F01. PC2 is VLAN 20 connected to F02, and so on. So I got to switch B now. Let's do B first. At switch B, leave the VLAN configuration mode to the general mode, type interface F01. At F01, I want to assign VLAN 10. So switch port, mode access, then switch port, access VLAN 10. This is done. Now I go to F02. I do the same, mode access, switch port mode access, and then switch port access VLAN 20. You can see now I stopped writing the long name of the command. I don't type switch port, the shortest possible number of letters. Okay, so the third one, F03, will be switch port mode access. And after that, access 30, switch port access VLAN 30. Okay. Do we need to have anything in 40? No, we are done with the access ports. I will go to the next one. Next one, it is switch C. At switch C, I have to do the same thing. Exit first the VLAN configuration mode. When you exit that, you go to interface F0. No, what is number? F01. Also the same thing. You type switch port, mode, access, switch port, access, VLAN 10. Then you go to F02, do the same. Switch port mode access, switch access VLAN 20. And F03, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 30. Okay. Mine is 53. How many of you reach 53? Can you write the percentage of the completion you reach in the chat box? So I know how fast I'm going, if I need to slow down, or things are okay. Write the completion rate you have. 53, good. 2 of you, 53. It's good. Good, more. We have 30 students here. I want to see the others. Okay, 53. What about the others? 0. Okay. Seems that I'm not going very fast, or you already get used to the speed, which is good news for me. Now, if we did the VLAN 30, now we have one more F04. It's connected to both the phone and the computer, and the computer is VLAN 10. Now I have to do this one as voice VLAN. To do the voice VLAN, I go to interface F04, do the same thing, switch mode access, switch access VLAN 10. Then I have to write the command for voice port, which is MLS, multi something something, I don't know, it stands for what. Quality of service, trust, cost of service. When you write this one, now you're allowed to assign switch port, voice, VLAN 40. If I type to show VLAN brief, let's see what do we have here. You can see that I have new VLANs, F01 and F04 in VLAN 10, and also F04 appear in the voice VLAN. Okay, so we know now we did it right. What to do next? Let's see what's the next. Of course, it will be trunking, but let's see the instructions for trunking. So the voice is already configured. Now configure the virtual management interface. Create a virtual management interface on all 3 switches. We did that one. Address the virtual management interface according to the addressing table. We need to do that. Okay. So in here, we know that management would be used, management VLAN, which is VLAN 99. It is the one to be used for SSH. And if you remember when we talked about SSH, I talked about PuTTY. As a software, we use it to contact the devices using SSH or Telnet. In here, there's an IP address. So which IP address I will be using? Switches, they don't have IP address. Switch is layer 2 device. That's why we create the management VLAN, it's a virtual one, and assign an IP address to it. If I want to contact it, simply I type this IP address, then I'll be inside the switch. So now let's do the management. How to do that? In switch B, I go to interface VLAN 99 is the management, right? This is the VLAN 99. See, this one is a new VLAN. It's a virtual VLAN, not a real one. And you see now we are inside interface configuration mode. Which interface? VLAN 99. Created a virtual interface. Now I can put an IP address there, which is 192.168.99.252. 253, I think. This is switch B. Switch B is 253. Okay. What is the subnet mask? You can see it is 255.255.255.0. I'm not sure if you have to write no shutdown, but I will write it anyhow to know how to do that. So this is switch B. I go to switch A, give it also the same thing. I'll put an IP address there. I'll go to, let's exit this one, interface VLAN 99. It's a virtual VLAN, not a real one. When I'm there, I'll type the IP address 192.168.99.252. Okay, 255.255.255.0. No shutdown, just in case we need to do it. Now, the last one is switch C. I'll do the same. Go to interface VLAN 99. In there, I'll type IP address 192.168.99.254. 255.255.255.0. No shutdown. So the management, okay, there's a typo. Okay. There's a big typo, sorry. No shutdown should be the next line. Okay, so this is done. Check the completion rate is 77%. That's a good news. What's left is, I think, only the trunking. So we did the virtual management interface, already done. So the switches should not be able to ping each other. Fine. Okay, now configure static trunking. Configure the link between switch 1 and B, switch A and B as a static trunk. Disable dynamic trunking on this port. Okay. Okay, now to configure this one, we need to see which port they are connected to. It is G01, this one. G01 on both sides. What we want to do, again, between switch A and B is a static trunk. So simply we do the usual one. What is the usual one? Static trunk. I will exit this one, go to interface G01. In interface G01 and make switch port mode trunk. Okay, now this is trunk. Next step is switch port trunk native VLAN is, what is the native VLAN? Let's check the table again. It's 100. Okay, native VLAN is 100. Next. Next, switch port. We start getting the message of mismatch. Switch port, trunk, allow. What should we allow here? VLAN 10, 20, 30, 40, 99, and 100. All of them should be allowed on this side. But since we want to disable the trunking, so we want to disable the dynamic trunking, I have to type switch port no negotiate. No space, no negotiate. Okay, why? When I type that one, for security reason, we will not have someone negotiating with this one. We protect it in this way. Because when we go to the attacks later, I think it's module 6 maybe, you will see that one of the attacks can be done using DTP. So we stop the negotiation. Now we have to go to switch A, do the same thing, and also stop the negotiation. So interface G01 at switch A, and in here, switch port mode trunk, and then switch port trunk native VLAN 100. So no more messages. The annoying messages should not come anymore. And then switch port trunk allow VLAN. Not the VLANs. 10, 20, 30, 40, 99, and 100. Allow all of them. And also stop the negotiation. For security reason, no negotiate. Stop that. So what will happen now? These two switches will not use dynamic trunking protocol. These two. But we want the other side, I think. Let's read this one. Okay. Now we want the other side, which is the trunk port switch C is set as the default DTP mode, and then okay. Configure G02 on switch A so that it successfully negotiate trunking with switch C. Okay. If you remember, we said the DTP at the switch, if we don't do anything, the default is auto. Okay. It is the DTP is auto at the switch, except if we change it. Now I want switch 1A to successfully negotiate trunking with the other switch. My question is, what will be, how to configure that, how to do that? If I go to switch A, what should I type there? Interface G02. I want to configure the switch port mode. What should I type here? I want this one to talk to the other one. So what's the command?
Switch port mode dynamic.
Dynamic what? Because if I type dynamic only, incomplete command.
Desirable.
Desirable. When I type desirable, it means switch A will start the talking, the negotiation with the other side. Okay. One of the things we need to negotiate about switch port, trunk, VLAN, native VLAN. VLAN is 100, right? Okay, let's check. Do show interface trunk to see what do we have there. For this switch, look at it now. You can see G01. It is on, meaning that it's trunk using the specific standard 802.1q. Trunking native VLAN is 100. G02 also is 100. Who's allowed to communicate? You can see for G01, because we did it ourselves, simply it is whatever we write. Even VLAN 1 we didn't put there. Okay. But for G02, simply it's allowed everyone. Okay. Now, when we check here, you can see there's still a problem in G02. It's not allowing everyone. Why? This is the message saying that there's a problem with the native VLAN. Native VLAN, in this one, we said it is 100, but the other side, it's still 1. So this mismatch will cause a problem. I have to go to switch C and tell interface G02 there. That's your native VLAN switch port, trunk, native VLAN is 100. Okay. If you do that, now the inconsistency, one side, the native VLAN is 100, the other one is 1. Now it's removed. Both of them became 100. If you check the completion rate, it's already 100%, which is a good news. Now, to verify, in real life, we don't have this completion rate. To verify, you should be able to ping the computers which are in the same VLAN. So that one is 10.10. Let's ping it from here. ping 192.168.10.10. You can see I can ping that one, no issue, but it's not enough. I have to try all the other VLANs also. This one will be ping 192.168.20.20. Also, okay, it's working. And ping this one. Ping 192.168.30.30. It's working. In here, I try to ping that 1.10.12. Also, it's working. So the network is ready now to be used. I hope the VLAN is very clear now. Any question? Is it clear?
Madam,
Yes.
I have a question. For switch C, what if we do the configure instead of we do instead of we do switch trunk native VLAN 100, what if we do the same switch port mode dynamic the dynamic we do the same on switch A, the command that we do the same.
Okay, you can do that, but you check the here saying that we want to do dynamic trunking. Dynamic trunking meaning that switch C would discuss with switch A and they find how to do the trunking. Okay, because it's not only about the native VLAN, they have to discuss the speed. They have to make sure that both of them are gigabit Ethernet, because if one of them is gigabit Ethernet, the other one is fast Ethernet, it will not work. They have to check that both of them are full duplex or half duplex. If you know that, half duplex meaning that you can send or receive. You cannot do them at the same time. Full duplex meaning send and receive can be done at the same time. So all these things will be checked. If you do the static routing, static trunking, you, the admin, should check these things. You have to make sure that both sides are the same. You have to make sure both sides are allowing the same VLANs. Here in switch C now, we didn't do the allow, right? If I check here, do show VLAN, interface trunk. Check here. It's already having this information. How did they get this information? We didn't write it. Took it from the other side. So that's the meaning of having dynamic trunking working there. It means that the switches would do some of the parts. We'll check few things instead of us. For us, we just have to change the VLAN, the native VLAN. The rest of it will be discussed by them, figure it out, and simply the trunking will be done. So now in real life, if you ask me which one is better, of course, the static routing is, static trunking is better because it's more secure. You can check it by yourself. And you don't have to worry about attacks. We'll talk about the attacks later. But sometimes it's a big headache. Imagine you have 2,000 switches in your campus, your own campus, and you have to check one by one. You have to do the trunking one by one. It will be much easier to do one switch, you configure the trunk, and then let it discuss with others and form the trunk by themselves. You don't interfere. It will be done dynamically. Okay, did I answer the question or not yet?
Yes, madam. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, anyone having any other question? If no question, we can stop here. Remember this one to be submitted before midnight, but the other one is at 10. If you don't do it, you will miss the chance to submit it. Okay, so make sure you submit this one. I'm facing some problem with the MS Team recording. I'm not sure if you see in MS Team the same as I see in files here. I'm supposed to see a file called recording. Sometimes I don't know why some of the recording are not there. Although I record, I have to download it on my computer and then upload it in Google Drive or somewhere else. Then you can see it. So let me know if you need the recording and it's not there. Please let me know as early as possible. So I'll try to figure out what's the issue. And hopefully no need for that recording if you are following the class. Thank you very much. And see you next class. Don't forget, it is the presentation. Next class, I will not be talking. It will be all you. I want you in Italim, to book your turn in the presentation, because most of the time people, they don't want to present at the beginning. So if you go to the project, what is that one? This is the project. Okay, I will put one link here for you. Which group will present first? So make sure that you book your turn for next class. If you want to present first, just choose the first group. Presentation. Book your presentation turn. Okay, so here we will have group 1, 2, 3. Just you can leave now if you want, but make sure one team member would choose one of them. Okay, group 1. That's all for today. Thank you very much and see you inshallah next class.
Thank you, madam.
You're welcome.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, madam.
You're welcome.
Madam, I have a
Yes.
question.
Yes.
I text you. Last class activity, I was little bit late and it's closed, so there is no way to submit it. I have already done it, but I cannot submit.
Yeah, actually, I don't want late submission, but don't worry, because every submission will be around 1 mark only, or even less than 1 mark from your total marks. Just make sure you submit the others. Your mark at the end will not be affected. But
Yeah, because last time there was 3 submissions. It's a lot.
yeah, but the submission, most of them we did them in the class. So if you did it in the class, you will have more than enough time to do it. I know some of you were in Putrajaya last class, I think.
Yeah,
So
I was there too.
you couldn't submit all of them or only one?
All of them.
All of them, 3 of them. Okay, just let's wait to the end of the semester. I'll check your mark. If you need those marks, because it's a very little mark. This is the thing. Maybe the 3 of them will not be one mark deducted. So to be fair to all students, since everyone submitted on time, it will not be fair for me to allow one student to submit late. So one thing I can do, maybe later, end of the semester, I will open for everyone. In that case, you can submit. Is that fair? Is that okay?
Okay. Okay. Thank you, madam.
You're welcome. Okay, everyone's fine? Let's close this one. See you inshallah next class. Assalamu alaikum.